Hi-ho, Silver, away!
A fiery horse at the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. In the early days of the western United States, a vicious band of outlaws terrorized the entire state of Texas. They robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches. They burned homes, stole cattle, and murdered everyone they encountered. The local sheriffs were powerless to stop them, as they never left a trail or witnesses behind for the lawmen to follow. As our story opens, we find the Lone Ranger and his loyal Indian companion Tonto racing towards the flaming buildings of the Box X Ranch.
Look, Tonto, that house and barn are on fire. Hi-ho, Silver, away!
Get him up, Scout.
It looks like more work of the Ghost Raiders, Tonto.
That's right, Kimosabi.
Whoa, Silver, steady boy. If there's anyone alive from this fire, we might get there in time to rescue them. And to find a clue.
No one left alive there, Kimosabi.
I'm afraid you're right, Tonto. Let's make sure, though, someone might still be alive in that burning house. This is the third time we've seen this kind of thing, Tonto. Whoa, Silver. Whoa, boy. Hold on. Oh.
Me hear man in there. Him still alive.
Tonto, you're right. Sounds like he's over there by the fireplace. Yes, over there. Tonto, go see how badly he's hurt.
Oh, my head. My head hurts.
Steady there. We're here to help.
Right, Kimosabi.
Oh, my head feels like it's been cracked open.
Him got bad bump on head.
He hit me with a rifle, but I still can't see so good, mister.
Hold on there. Just take it easy. You're hurt pretty badly.
Wait, I thought I heard someone groaning a while back. Someone else has survived, I think.
Tonto, take a look around. I've got to get him out of the house before this roof falls down.
Me do that.
Oh, help!
There it is again. Help whoever it is, stranger.
Little woman, Kimosabi. Her alive. Me carry her out, too.
Who is it?
Is that you, Sheriff Burns? I thought them devils killed everyone, Sheriff.
That sounds like Laura. Oh, if only my head would clear. Oh.
It's me. All right, Sheriff. Me, Laura Halstead.
Laura? You hurt bad, Laura?
They got me in the shoulder, but it ain't so bad. I was trying to drag myself out of the house before the smoke got to me, but I passed out again. My shoulder.
You be all right soon. We help.
Hurry, Tonto. We have to get these two out of here before the roof falls in.
I seem better now. Thanks, stranger.
Lie still now. You've had a tough time of it.
A masked man in an engine. You're part of the outlaw gang.
We aren't outlaws. This mask is on the side of law and order. We saw the fire and came to help. Now, whose ranch is this?
Well, it's Laura Halstead's.
Yeah, or at least it was. Tain't nothing left now.
Now, that's Laura Halstead there, you see, and I'm the sheriff.
I see your badge.
My name is Burns, Sheriff Burns. Now, if you aim to really help, you'd find a way to get us into town.
We'll get you into town, all right, Sheriff.
I'll get a posse together and go after those outlaws and...
You need to rest first. You're in no shape to lead a posse. But you can help me. Give me some information. Do you have any idea who these raiders are?
No, we couldn't see any of them. They all had their faces covered like you, masked man.
This is a masked gang, and this isn't their first raid. Have you heard of the Ghost Raiders? They've already struck at half a dozen ranches east of here.
They have? Well, now, why haven't we heard about it?
They never leave survivors. And news travels slowly in this part of the country in spite of the railroad.
Well, then we're plumb lucky to be alive.
Very lucky you escape.
Now, what else do you know about them, mister?
I know only two things. They seem to attack in regular intervals, and no one has been able to find their trail. They leave not a trace. They vanish like ghosts.
Is that so? Ghosts, huh? Well, I don't believe in ghosts. And this is beginning to make me hopping mad. Do they always attack ranches like mine?
Just like yours, Laura. 3 weeks ago, they attacked a ranch about 40 miles east of here. And 3 weeks before that, they made another attack. And just 3 weeks before that, another. No survivors.
Yeah, blame it, them varmints.
And no trace of the cattle they stole has ever been found.
Well, land sakes, they got nearly 400 head of my cattle. So where do you think they hide them?
I don't know, Laura, but I have an idea. Sheriff, is your head better now?
Yeah, it hurts like thunderation, but it's all right.
Well enough to ride tomorrow?
Yeah, I expect so. Where to?
To trail the outlaws. If my idea is right, I want you along so I can show you proof.
Mask or no mask, stranger, I'm with you.
And you can count on me too. Tarnation, I'm with you.
You can't travel with that shoulder, Laura. You take it easy for a few days.
But where? Them embers of souls left of my ranch. I ain't got no home. All I worked for is gone.
You can come stay at my house, Laura. My wife and me would be happy to have you.
Well, I reckon I can sit with that. Thank you, Sheriff.
We'll take you there as soon as Tonto finishes the bandaging.
Tonto, I thank you.
Grateful to you, Tonto.
I'm sorry to ask, Laura, but is your husband among the dead here?
No. My husband was killed about 3 years ago in a stagecoach robbery. I still miss him.
I'm sorry to hear that. Tell me more about this stagecoach holdup.
Well, there ain't much to tell. You see, my husband was coming back from a business trip to Weaversville. The stagecoach was robbed of about $1,000. Those low-down devils killed everyone, including my husband. I planned to meet the daisies in the yard, and I've been running the ranch ace-high alone ever since.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto try to put out the fire, but it's a total loss. Laura's home is completely destroyed. They discover that all 20 of her ranch hands have been killed by the Ghost Raiders. Not a single head of cattle is left, not one. Later that same day, Sheriff Burns and Laura are well enough to travel, and the Lone Ranger and Tonto bring the two victims back to Osage. The next morning, the Lone Ranger and Tonto meet the sheriff and bank manager Harvey Anderson at Mrs. O'Leary's cafe to discuss strategy.
Top of the morning to you, Sheriff Burns. What's this now? 'Tis a masked man and an Injun you be bringing to Miss O'Leary's?
It's okay, Mrs. O'Leary. They're on the side of law and order. Hi there, masked man. This is the masked man and his partner Tonto, who helped Laura and me out at the Halstead Ranch yesterday. Masked man, this is the town's bank manager, Harvey Anderson. And well, this here is Mrs. O'Leary. She owns this here eating establishment, and I got to tell you, she serves up some mighty fine victuals.
Well, now, Sheriff, you must have been kissing the old Blarney Stone again. You'd better be careful or I'll stack more Johnny cakes on your plate. Would you and the Injun like something mighty tasty to eat, masked man?
No thanks. Maybe just a cup of coffee for Tonto and me. Say, do you have any more news about this gang?
We were just talking. We think this is the same gang, the Ghost Raiders, that have been robbing the stagecoaches and trains around here.
Harvey, I believe you're right. And I'll bet these are the same outlaws who killed Laura Halstead's husband. But tell me, why do you think these are the Ghost Raiders?
Well, because they never leave anyone alive that could identify them. And they only strike when there's gold or cash or cattle to steal. Exactly the same as the other robberies. And no one ever lives to see them. And well, like ghosts, they just vanish.
Okay, then. When's the last time they robbed a train?
See, now that's the strange part. 2 months ago, Harvey and I here planned a train ambush for them when a big gold shipment was planted on the train. But they never attacked. We was all set up to catch them, but they never showed, and they haven't been seen since. Ghosts!
They did rob a stagecoach about 3 months ago, a month or so before our planned ambush. Got away with a boatload of cash intended for the bank, they did, but no survivors. Could have been the same gang as burned down Laura's place.
Sure, and you know it cannot be the same gang. If in the last time this gang struck was 3 months ago, well, in my opinion, I think those robbers got enough money and they are long gone down to Mexico, maybe. 'Tis mighty grand down Mexico way, you know, even for a band of ghosties.
I doubt that's true. Outlaws will be outlaws all their lives. They're evil men, and they will never have enough money.
We could never understand how they knew when to strike, when the trains and stagecoaches had gold, cash, or the cattle was within raiding distance. The only two people who knew when those shipments were arranged and knew about the planned ambush were the sheriff and me.
Well, maybe they're not ghosts. They're leprechauns, and they have the luck of the Irish. La 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 la.
Tonto, sounds like the same gang to me.
Me think that right, Kimosabi. Them stop steal gold and now steal cattle.
Harvey, you say the last episode before the failed ambush was about 3 months ago?
Yep. Then after that, all of a sudden, they just stopped cold. Darndest thing. Until the Halstead Ranch.
Ah, begorra, Sheriff Burns, 'tis a miracle indeed. You and Laura Halstead were the only ones who survived. The saints preserve us.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Now, my Irish eyes tell me that if this was the same gang, they wouldn't have spared you and Laura. No, boyo, they surely wouldn't. You'd be goners.
No, Mrs. O'Leary. They thought we were goners. If it hadn't been for the masked man here and Tonto riding in when they did, we would have been killed in the fire just like everyone else.
Sheriff, could you give us directions to the location where this gang robbed the stage 3 months ago? Their last episode before this one?
As the old saying goes, the hills are not greener out there. Why would you want to go out to that desolate spot? 'Twas over 3 months ago, boyo.
I have my reasons, and I'd rather not say right now.
The same day, the Lone Ranger and Tonto make camp just outside of town, and then visit the location of the 3-month-old stagecoach robbery the next day. As they ride in, they are suddenly ambushed by 2 of the outlaws who are hiding in the rocks above the trail.
Come on, Tonto, head for those rocks over there.
Where them at, Kimosabi?
The shots came from in between those rocks up there. Up there.
I see. 2 men shoot at us. Them ride on trail up in rock. It too hard to follow.
Tonto, are you okay?
Them not come close to me. One of them bad shot. One almost hit you, Kimosabi.
Yes, Tonto. If it hadn't been for Silver, they would have hit me. Silver reared up just before the shot, and so it missed me.
Him very smart horse.
You said them.
That right, Kimosabi. 2 men shoot at us. One not very good shot. Why you think them shoot at us?
Someone told the Ghost Raiders that we would be coming out here today. And I think I know who. Look around, Tonto. See what clues you can find about the stagecoach robbery.
This red dirt. It only in this area. It pretty soft.
Mm-hmm.
The dust leaves many horse print. Me think there are 30 horses here.
Let's go, Tonto. I need to talk to the sheriff fast. Hi-yo, Silver, away!
The Lone Ranger wins the full confidence of the sheriff. The next day, he and Tonto spend the day studying the ruins of the Box X Ranch and waiting for the sheriff to arrive.
That Sheriff Burns coming now, Tonto.
Him right on time.
Tonto, I'm sure our idea is right, but it may be hard to prove.
Whoa there, boy. Here I am, masked man. So now, what's this here idea of yours to catch them scalawags?
I'll tell you later, but first, Tonto and I have already found a trail that might be that of the outlaws.
Found it? Well, how'd you do that, by jingo?
My friend here has no equal in finding and reading trails.
I reckon I've heard that Injuns are uncanny that way. You riding that trail?
Just waiting for you.
Well, I'm here. Let's head out. You're right about that Injun partner of yours. He's better than a bloodhound when it comes to following the trail. And that's not all.
Oh? What's that?
He fixed Laura Halstead up good as new. Her shoulder's fine. Doc says he can't believe it, but she'll be up and about in another day or so. Laura was raring to go this morning. She would have, too, if I hadn't forced her to stay home in bed.
I'm glad to hear that, Sheriff. Her shoulder will be completely healed in a short time.
Yeah, sure will.
Then she'll be able to help us with the attack on the outlaw gang.
That's right. She'll be able to... Attack? What? Oh, gosh, you ain't figuring on attacking them critters, are you? There must be 60 or more of them from what I heard. They're all devils, all of them.
Why not?
We can't get enough men together to go after them. I'd be lucky to get 15 or 20 men all told.
We'll worry about that after we locate them, Sheriff.
Okay, masked man. You seem to know what you're doing. Leastwise, I sure as hell of beans hope you do. Ghost raiders, 60 of them, attacking, using women.
Whoa, Scout. Whoa, boy.
Whoa! Whoa, why'd you stop, Tonto?
Trail end. Trail end here.
The railroad tracks. Ha! I knew it.
You right, Kimosabe.
Good, very good.
Good? I don't see what's good about it. Well, now, there ain't nothing here but them dead blasted railroad tracks as far as the eye could see. No more trail. Now, how we gonna...
Those tracks, Sheriff, tell the entire story. Are you absolutely certain, Tonto, the trail of the cattle stops at the railroad tracks?
That right.
If the trail went further, we could follow the cattle a darn sight easier. Up to here, there's just so darn many hoof marks. They're all mixed up.
And that's exactly why those outlaws have been so secure.
I don't savvy.
Get off your horse, Burns. Let me show you something.
All right.
Now, this flat rock will work well to draw on. I'll use this sharp stone here to scratch lines. Now, look here. This is the railroad track, see?
Yeah, okay.
Right here is the Circle K Ranch. That was the first one to be raided by the outlaws. Conveniently near the tracks. You see that?
Yeah, but I didn't know they'd been raided, though.
All the men were wiped out, the buildings burned, and all the cattle stolen. Now, following the tracks toward the west, we find the next ranch.
Yeah.
That one was raided in the same way, just 3 weeks after the Circle K tragedy. Now, follow the tracks. The next ranch was west of that. And here, the next ranch after that, and so on every 3 weeks, until we come to the Box X.
Laura Halstead's place.
And that brings us to right here, where once again the cattle trail ends at the boundary of the train tracks.
Same thing that happened in the rustling of the other ranches?
Yes, and that proves the railroad train was here to transport the stolen cattle to some market in the east.
So that's how them dang polecats move the longhorns.
It is.
And hang it all, that means the next attack should occur when the next train comes in that heads east.
Exactly.
Which is Jeb Cummings' ranch. It's the next place to the west. Jeb Cummings' ranch will be next.
I'm sure of it, Sheriff.
Ah, shuck, but what's the use of being sure? There ain't a chance of getting enough men to fight them outlaws. They got an army of men lined up. All two-gun men and well-mounted, not a tenderfoot among them.
Then suppose you just do nothing and just let the outlaws take over the state.
What?
Well, that's what you're suggesting.
Oh, heck no, I'm not. I'm hopping mad is what I am. I'm darned if I'm gonna let those low-down skunks ruin our community. I'm asking you for orders. Just tell me where to get the men to fight and then watch my gun smoke.
The outlaw gang is in their hideout, miles from where the Lone Ranger talks to the sheriff. Their camp is well concealed. They always cover their tracks, and they always feel absolutely secure.
Riding for miles on a choo-choo train is the thickest stunt I ever heard of.
You're right, Bart. It stops everyone from following the trail, including them bloodhounds.
Blackie, when is the boss due back?
Just take my advice and don't ask no dingbat questions, Billy.
It don't make no good sense to ask questions about the boss. Boss Lacey don't like it.
I was just wondering, Bart.
Don't wonder, kid. Savvy?
I savvy. Hey, horse coming in.
Why, that's Boss Lacey now. I can tell her riding a mile off.
Wait a minute. The boss is a woman?
Yep, she's a woman. But don't let that fool you. She's the fastest draw I ever seen, and I seen plenty.
And she's mighty purty, too. Gosh.
Hey, You hard-headed. You loco. Don't even go there. She'll drop you faster than you can think about. See those 2 guns she wears? She practices with them every day. I seen her go through 100 rounds a day. Hey, Blackie, you reckon she's got the dope for our next job?
I reckon so.
Wonder what it gonna be.
Hey, Billy boy, I told you not to get too curious. Boss Lacey will tell us what we need to know.
Oh, gosh, she looks powerful mad about something today. Wonder what the heck's going on.
She looks awfully young to be the boss. Kinda sweet and all.
You don't worry about that. She's smart enough. Heck, who else do you know could plan a job like this, huh? Sweet and all? Man, oh man.
Whoa there. Hey, you, boy, take care of my horse.
Oh, she's mad about something, all right. Mighty mad.
I got something to say to all you hombres, and I ain't gonna waste words, so listen up now. I just found out that after the raid on the Box X, you left 2 alive.
But, boss...
2. Maybe they seen us. Maybe they can tell what we look like and how we talk. Maybe they can lead a posse after us.
Oh, you mean there's a posse on our trail right now?
Did I say so, Bart? Did I?
No, ma'am, sir.
Then shut up. Bart, you were supposed to see that everyone was taken care of, proper like.
Yeah, but
How'd you come to miss out on Laura Halstead and Sheriff Burns?
I could have swore they was dead. Besides, the last I saw of them, they was in the burning house. I don't see how they could have survived that. No way, no.
Well, they did, and they ain't dead.
Did they tell anything about us, boss?
They don't know nothing more about us now than they did before the raid. But that ain't no excuse for you hombres. This is the last warning. From now on, if any of you fall down on the job, you get what we give the others.
Oh, no.
We're going through all the plans on our next job. The Jeb Cummins Ranch.
We are using the train again.
Did I say we weren't? Dolt. As soon as a train is here, we move in on the Cummins Ranch.
Do things same as last time, boss?
Yeah, except for leaving survivors. We don't need to change our plans none. Blackie, you and your boys take care of driving the cattle to the train.
Okay, boss.
Bart,
Huh?
I'm leaving you in charge of killing everyone.
Yeah.
And Bart, don't mess it up this time.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, ma'am. Sure, I won't.
Jose, you and your men set fire to all the buildings.
Si, senor.
We got some of our own men working at the Cummins Ranch. When we make our attack, they'll work from the inside out, and we'll work from the outside in.
Well, that's a pretty slick scheme, boss.
Now pass the time as you want, but stay in camp. When the train comes, we start. Bart, I need to talk to you privately.
Yes, boss.
I want you to go over to the Cummins Ranch tomorrow. Meet up with Paco. He's working over there with about 10 or 15 of our own men. Find out what he's learned so far. Tell me how many cattle we can expect and get an exact count of the number of Cummins men they got working there. You keep count this time and make sure you get 'em all. This time, no one gets out alive. You got it?
Sure thing, boss.
What the boss want?
You know, Billy boy, you ask too many questions. Take care of your own job, and you'll do just fine.
Blackie?
What?
Hey, listen, Pard. Can you tell me just one thing? I've been hankering to find out how the boss works his railroad business. She's really smart.
No, I can't. Well, I suppose there ain't no harm telling you. Boss Lacey has a regular business worked out. The main office is over in Cantonville. You know, where the railroad office is?
Yeah, I know the town.
See, she also has connections with some cattle outfit in the east. They buy the cattle. When Boss Lacey sells the cattle, her railroad connection arranges to pick up the cattle at a certain ranch along the railroad line. Easy.
But the ranches we attack, Don't them firms buying the cattle know that these are stolen longhorns?
Nah. Boss Lacey has that worked out, too. We have a special way to change the brands on the cattle while we're shipping them off. That's one of the jobs you and I'll have after we get the cattle on the train. Boy, is it fun.
Oh, okay. But what about the men who work the train? How do we take care of them?
There's only two of them, the engineer and the fireman.
Don't they care if they're loading stolen cattle?
Course not. They don't care, 'cause they're part of our gang. They're part of us. Boss Lacey got them jobs with the railroad months ago. I tell you, she's got everything covered. She makes sure the same men will run the train each time. And that's why she has to wait for that particular train at a particular time. She's even got a man in the telegraph office to make darn sure they're the ones running that train for the day in question.
Gosh, there just ain't no way to break up an organization slick as this one.
Nope, they ain't. I tell you, Pard, you're with the smartest boss when you're with Boss Lacey. Just watch how she takes the Cummins Ranch. It will be a sight to see. Ixnay, here she comes.
Now, you know, men, everyone in this outfit is a fast shooter. If you wasn't, you wouldn't be in this gang. I'm building this gang into the smartest one the West ever knew. Y'all know what I want from you. And Blackie will see to it that you obey orders. Now, we got plans made to clean up the Cummins Ranch. Jeb Cummins has one of the finest herds of cattle in this state, and I can get a great price for them. Now listen careful, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. First, we're going to head over there.
Our scene opens as the Lone Ranger and Tonto scout out the Cummins Ranch, the ranch they believe the outlaws will strike next.
Look, Kimosabi, trail go to top of Table Mountain. Let's go, Tonto. I expect we could see Jeb Cummings' entire ranch from up there.
That right. Look, big stream over there.
Yes, and there's another one over there, and several more smaller ones over there. Look, they all feed down Table Mountain and form that river below. It's no wonder Jeb Cummings has the biggest cattle ranch in the territory.
Him have plenty water.
Yes.
We at top now.
Tonto, you can see the entire valley from up here. It's quite beautiful.
Look there. Train track down there.
Yes, Tonto. And there's where the tracks curve off to the north to follow around the mountain.
That right.
That's where the outlaws will stop the train, Tonto. It'll be the best place to load the cattle. Okay, let's go. I need to talk to the sheriff.
Later that same day, the Lone Ranger and Tonto meet at the office of Sheriff Burns to discuss their plans.
How well do you know Jeb Cummings, Sheriff?
I heard tell of him. He owns the largest cattle ranch in these here parks. Close to 2,000 head, I've been told, but personally, I don't know him at all. He lives 2 towns over in North Bend.
Do you know the sheriff in North Bend?
Sure do. Yancey Carter. He's the sheriff over there. He's married to my sister.
How big is North Bend?
Not that big. About the same size as our town. Midland, I'd say.
I'm going to ride out and talk to Jeb Cummings. I want you and Tonto to ride over to North Bend tomorrow and talk to Sheriff Carter. Now listen carefully. Here's our plan.
The next morning, as Tonto and Sheriff Burns travel to North Bend to explain the plans to Sheriff Carter, the Lone Ranger rides up on 2 cowboys who are fixing fences at the Cummins Ranch. Seeing his mask, they start to draw their guns.
Did you see that lightning draw?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I hadn't even touched my gun yet.
Oh, okay. What do you want, mister? You got the drop on us. We ain't got nothing worth stealing. We're just a couple of hard-working cowboys.
I'm not an outlaw. I need you to take me to see Jeb Cummings.
Are you with those ghost raiders? If you're not an outlaw, why are the masks then?
I'm the foreman of this ranch, and we're not going to take an outlaw to see our boss.
I told you, I'm not an outlaw. I wear this mask for my own reasons.
Oh, yeah? Well, what do you want to see our boss for?
I don't have time to explain it to you. This is a matter of great urgency. Now get on your horses and take me to Jeb Cummings. Now!
We'd better do as he says, Slim. He's got the muzzle on us.
Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the Lone Ranger, the outlaw Bart, following the directions of the gang leader Boss Lacey, meets with Paco at another part of the Cummings Ranch. Bart explains to Paco what his part will be in the upcoming raid.
Is everything all set, Paco?
Si, senor. I have another saving of our men who are working here on the ranch. Boss Lacey had us start here about 2 months ago now, so no one will suspect us. Another 5 of our boys that started last week.
Oh, I'll tell you. Boss Lacey, she sure thinks of everything. How many other cowboys does Cummins have working for him? I need to keep count this time. I messed up last time I left 2 of them alive. Boss Lacey wants to make sure we get everything won this time.
When we heard about your raids west of here, 12 of them ran away. Now there are 28 cowboys left. There are another 6 ranch hands and the cook, plus Cummings, his wife, and daughter.
Okay, Paco. And when we come in riding, you and your boys take care of Cummins, his wife, and daughter, and all the ranch hands. Make sure you don't leave any survivors. You got that?
I know what to do, senor.
As the Lone Ranger, Butch, and Slim ride to the ranch house of the Cummings Ranch, Jeb Cummings is explaining to his wife his concerns about the recent raid on the Box X Ranch and a possible raid on his ranch.
Jeb, what's wrong, dear? You seem like you're really out of sorts today.
Oh, I'm okay, Linda. I'm just tired.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, dear. You must have had a very hard day. Jeb?
Yeah, it seems like when one thing goes wrong, everything else has to bust loose at the seams at the same time.
Darling, you can always talk to me. What's wrong?
I don't know what's wrong. Nothing you can put your finger on. But the hands is all worried about raiders and snoopers. I have a funny feeling. I just
What
can't
do you mean,
figure it.
Jeb?
Well, I told you what we heard about the raid east of here.
You mean that terrible raid at the Box X Ranch?
Yeah, but I reckon I better not say no more. No use borrowing trouble.
Jeb Cummins, you tell me what it's all about right now.
Now, Linda.
Well, sweetheart, you aren't really worried about those ghost raiders, are you, dear?
Dagnabbit, yes, I am. Yesterday, the boys saw a couple of hombres sneaking around and spying on the cattle.
You mean?
I mean, I'm powerful afraid we're in for trouble. And I don't think they're ghosts.
But we have plenty of hands to fight, and we can fight real raiders.
You mean we had plenty of hands?
What, had?
I didn't tell you before, Linda, but a few of the boys deserted a while back as soon as they heard about all this here raiding business. I had to have hands, so I hired whoever come along. Those men I hired about 2 months ago, I don't know how far they can be trusted. Something just ain't right.
Maybe you hired some of the outlaws.
That's what I've been thinking. I don't like the looks of these new men, but I can't run a ranch without help.
It would be a slick outlaw plan to have men on the ranch they plan to clean out.
Yeah, I tell you, Linda, I don't like the looks of things. I'm skittish as a newborn colt, and I've a mind to pack you off to stay with your sister until them raiders is caught.
No, Jeb, absolutely not. I'm staying right here with you as long as we have this ranch.
Well, if there's anything to this raiding business, you won't be safe here.
Neither will you, Jeb. And you're staying, right?
Yeah, but it's different.
Then
for
no
women.
buts. I'm staying. If there's any danger, you're not facing it alone, Jeb Cummins. But maybe we should send our daughter to stay with my sister for a bit.
Oh, with all these here problems, I forgot Rachel's fresh home from finishing school. She's not going to be happy about it, but she's going to have to leave as soon as possible. Can you tell her and get her packed up? I'll make arrangements for one of our trusted men to take her into town in the morning. I'm sure your sister won't mind. Who is it? Come in.
This here masked man rode up on us while we were out fixing fences. He demanded we bring him to see you.
An outlaw?
I'm not an outlaw.
If you're not an outlaw, why are you wearing that mask and those fancy 6-guns? Why are you snooping around my ranch?
I came here to speak to you on a most urgent matter.
Okay, tell me what you come here to talk about.
Several ranches east of here have been attacked and men killed.
Yeah, I know that already.
Your ranch will be next.
Why, you low-down varmint.
See, boss, he is one of them. He's making threats.
I came here to warn you.
You mean you come here to spy on us? If my men hadn't have caught you, you'd be back with your pards right now, telling them the whole layout of this ranch. You're nothing but a lying scoundrel.
Your men didn't catch me. I had them bring me here. No matter what you think, your ranch is in grave danger.
Shall we take his guns, boss? He said he'd come along peaceably if we left his guns and his mask alone.
Good idea. There's enough of us to take him right now. Hand over them guns, mister. I'm going to find out who you are.
Stand back. Don't any of you make a move.
Did you see that draw? Wow! That's the second time he did that. He drew on us out at the range. He's the fastest I ever seen. Gee willikers.
I didn't even get my hand on my gun, and he had already drawn both of his.
I warned you, Cummings. Now guard yourself against the outlaws. Stand where you are.
Out that door and get after him. Don't let him get away.
Hi-oh, Silver, away!
He pushed a chair in front of the door. We can't get out. There we are. Shoot him down.
No use going after him. That horse is like greased lightning.
No use even shooting at him either. He's too far away already.
Maybe he did just come here to warn us, Jeb.
You heard him threaten us.
Maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he wasn't threatening. Maybe he did just come here to warn us. Jeb?
Well, boss, she might be right. He had the drop on us. I didn't bring him. He brought me.
Either way, we need to be prepared.
What do we do, boss?
First, we set out a double watch. All the men we can trust.
We haven't got enough hands.
We got enough men if we all work night and day. We gotta prepare for an attack. We'll take 3 hours of sleep a night and spend the rest of the time in preparation.
What else?
Have the new men set up barricades. Board up all the windows. You round up all the cattle and take them down to the South Range. They'll be harder to find down there. Don't use any of the new men to move the cattle. And don't tell them where you're taking them.
You got it, boss. I'm glad to hear that you're suspicious of those new men. I don't trust them neither.
Well, get them to go then. No use having outlaws working against us. And let's be ready to fight to the finish.
Our setting changes to the town of Osage. Laura Halstead, antsy now that she is recovered, asks the sheriff several questions that the lawman refuses to answer directly.
I ain't saying nothing about our plans, Laura, in case they don't work out. Now, how's your wound?
Oh, I told you afore, Sheriff, it's all right. I'm as good as new thanks to that Injun Tonto. Say, where's he got to anyhow?
I don't rightly know.
Well, now, ain't there anything you can tell me? For days now, we've been waiting, just waiting. That's all. Cleaning our guns, keeping our horses saddled, ready to ride. What are we waiting for?
I can't tell you, Laura.
Well, how long it'd be before you can tell me?
When's the next train due?
How in thunder should I know? The last train meant my ranch was wiped out. If I never see another train again, it'll be too soon.
I reckon you'll see more trains, Laura. Maybe the next one won't be as much good luck as the last one was bad luck.
Oh, you're talking in riddles. Are you sure them cow thieves used the railroad? Seems mighty hard somehow.
I ain't sure of nothing. I'm just waiting, Laura. Just waiting. Same as you.
You ready for ride, Sheriff?
Is it time, Tonto? Tell me, is it time to ride?
It's time now.
Then come on, Laura. That's what we've been waiting for. That's what we kept the horses saddled for. Follow me. Lead the way, Tonto.
Get men from town.
I talked to every man separately, and they're all ready to ride. Laura, you go on over to the saloon. Tell every man there it's time to ride. Tell them the masked man needs them. I'll signal with my gun. Now hurry. Come on, boys, come on, get riding. The masked man needs you.
Working strategically, Sheriff Burns enlists every able-bodied man in Osage. At his command, they mount their horses and ride after him.
Come on, turn out. The time is at hand. Get your horses and follow me. Get up there.
The sheriff shouts out to the man he sees at each ranch they pass, no matter how small.
Turn out, boys. Get your guns and horses. Follow us. The masked man needs you.
As the hard-riding posse thunders on between Osage and Jeb Cummings' ranch, their number increases. They pass through the sleepy town of Meredith, and once again, the voice of Sheriff Burns summons more men to join them.
Follow us. The masked man needs you.
The sheriff and his hard-riding men race along, swelling their numbers as they go. A messenger has also been sent to Sheriff Carter from the town of North Bend.
Come on, Sheriff Carter. It's time to ride.
We're ready. I've been collecting men since Sheriff Burns told us the attack. I got close to 50 men ready. Them outlaws won't stand a chance this time. And because of the masked man's plan, they won't even know we're coming.
All right, Sheriff Carter. Take your men and be ready to attack where the railroad track starts to curve to the north around Table Mountain. A lot of outlaws will be gathered there because that's where they plan to load the cattle.
The outlaws, too, are preparing their attack. And when the train they are expecting slows down near the Cummings Ranch, they know this is their signal for the gang to start their well-planned raid.
Remember what you're supposed to do, boys, and don't mess up this time. There's a train now. They're ready for us to load the cattle on.
Are you sure your men will be in the engine, boss?
They'll be there. They wouldn't be stopping if they weren't. You just take care of your job. Head for the house, first of all.
Okay.
Our men who are working on the ranch have instructions to get Cummins and his family and all the ranch hands. We need to make sure we get all the cowboys. Our men who are working on the ranch have instructions to get Cummins and his family and all the ranch hands. We need to make sure we get all the cowboys. Then we'll get the cattle. And remember, don't leave no survivors this time.
While the outlaws race towards the ranch, Jeb Cummings and his ranch hands check their guns and stand ready to fight. They feel their cause is hopeless, but they are prepared to make a desperate attempt to defend themselves. We hear Jeb as he cautions his wife.
Linda, you keep down below the windowsill.
I will, and as fast as your guns empty out, pass them to me and I'll reload them.
Okay, boys, here they come. The train's already stopping on the track.
The train that will carry your herds away.
There ain't none of us that'll see it, but take as many of them as you can, boys, before you go down.
How close are they now, Jeb?
Not far. The moon makes things bright as day. Linda, here, take this 6-gun. I don't know if they'll try to capture you, but don't you let them. Save one bullet just in case. Got it?
I understand.
Look, they're starting. They're starting.
All right, boys, pour lead into them.
Look, boss, they've got more men on the train.
Yeah?
Look, them cow cars are pouring out scores of men.
How many men they got in this gang?
Oh, Silver, away!
Silver, did you hear that?
That's that same man that was here yesterday.
They're attacking us.
It can't be true. No, look again. They're not attacking us. They're attacking the rustlers.
It's a miracle.
We don't need to fight. Look at them others cutting down them rustlers.
This is our fight, Butch. We need to cut down them rustlers, too.
All right, I'm with you.
Sheriff Burns' posse leaps from the cattle cars and closes in on the outlaws. The outlaws are completely surprised by the sight of the sheriff and his men pouring out of the cattle cars. Meanwhile, Sheriff Carter attacks from the north, and now the thieves are surrounded. Boss Lacey is shot down in the fighting.
They got me.
And a score more of the outlaws are hit before the posse's blazing guns. The remaining outlaws throw down their guns and surrender.
Don't shoot! I surrender! We all surrender! We'll face trial!
You'll face trial, all right.
And you'll tell all you know about this scheme.
It was Lacey's gang. She's dead. She's the one. She had everything all lined up.
And where's my cattle?
Your cattle are sold, but give me a chance. I'll get the money for you. I will, I promise.
The engineer of the train was in the gang, right?
Yeah, him and the fireman.
I thought so. I had to rope them. They wouldn't stop the train and help the sheriff and his men load their horses.
Stranger, I thought when you was here last time, you was making a threat. But now I know you was the best friend we had.
Oh, we owe everything to you, masked man. Everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be of help, ma'am. Come on, Sheriff, we need to ride back to town. There's one more thing we've got to do.
The outlaw gang is now captured. The Cummings Ranch, the people, and the cattle herds are all saved from destruction and murder. But there's one last crucial detail that the Lone Ranger needs to complete. Tonto, Sheriff Burns, and the Lone Ranger race back towards Osage to round up the last member of the Ghost Raiders gang. In town, they find Harvey Anderson's horse tied up in front of Mrs. O'Leary's cafe. They tie up their horses there as well and go inside, where they see Harvey Anderson chatting with Mrs. O'Leary. The two are finishing a cup of Irish coffee.
Good morning, Harvey. Mrs. O'Leary, we meet again.
Good morning, Sheriff, masked man, Tonto. I hear there's good news in the wind today.
'Tis a grand morning, to be sure, gentlemen. I am just closing early today to get to my lady's sewing circle. But you folks can stay and drink the rest of the pot, as me granny used to say.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Leary. You know, I've seen you before. In fact, I recognized you the first time I saw you. And you're no more Irish than I am. In fact, you're the leader of this gang.
What? Well, there's a lot of poppycock that I never did hear, just for sure, and I never. Messman, I cannot bear to think anyone would believe a silly fairy story like that. Sheriff, Harvey, both of you have been customers of mine for over 3 years. You know me. I belong to the ladies' sewing circle with both of your wives. You know I'm a church-going lady. I'm in the choir at church, and I'm there every Sunday.
No, it is true. You are the real leader of this gang. Furthermore, I captured your husband, Colonel John Lacey, 4 years ago.
Well, now, who's Colonel Lacey?
Him pretty bad fellow.
He was a ruthless colonel who fought on the side of the South. After the war, he continued raiding ranches about 300 miles north of here and robbing trains and stagecoaches and murdering anyone who got in his way. He was hanged about 4 years ago in Deadwood. How long has Mrs. O'Leary been here in town?
Well, I'd have to say 3.5, maybe 4 years.
Just about the time her husband was hanged. You were one of the ones who shot at Tonto and me when we went out to look at the location of the stagecoach holdup.
Why, that's outrageous. Faith, I don't own a gun, and I certainly don't know how to shoot a gun.
Well, you're right about one thing. Thankfully, you're not a very good shot. It was your daughter, the infamous Boss Lacey, who was running the gang, but you're the real brains of the outfit. I remember that you had that same red dirt on your shoes when we got back from the stage holdup site. Look, it's still there now.
Well, that don't prove anything. Faith and Begorra, red dirt and me shooting at you? Me setting up stagecoach and train robberies? Well, I never heard of such a thing. Sheriff, you're not believing any of this malarkey.
Yeah, Mrs. O'Leary, I am. I've seen that rifle you have behind the counter. It's right here. Smells like it's been fired recently, too.
Harvey, when you and the sheriff discussed the train and stagecoach cash shipments, were you here at Mrs. O'Leary's?
You know, come to think of it, it was right here. We have breakfast here every morning, and the only other person who could have heard us was you, Mrs. O'Leary. That means you knew about the time and place of those stage and train shipments. The sheriff and I talked about them here, in your place. You listened in and set up those robberies.
Mrs. O'Leary, you're under arrest.
Faith, it's about time I can talk like a true Texan. I don't regret none of it. My husband was a great man and a real war hero. Why, if the South would have won that dadgummed war, why, he most likely would have been governor or even the president by now. He knew how to make men do what he wanted. He could move mountains.
Your husband was a murdering outlaw, and so are you and your daughter, God rest her soul. And with your arrest, well, I guess we've captured your whole gang, thanks to you, Master Man. Hey, where'd he go?
He must have slipped out the back door. Shucks, I wanted to thank him and Tonto. Besides, I wanted to ask him his name. We can't just keep calling him the Masked Man.
Oh, dang it, you slow-witted cowpokes. Don't y'all know who that was? He's the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger and Tonto are the best crime fighters that poor outlaw gangs like mine have ever known. Fly on the Lone Ranger. He won again.
Come on, Tonto. We're headed for Harperville. I hear there's trouble brewing. Hi-ho, Silver, away!